Before Grandpa died, he pressed a worn notebook into my hands. He said, 3 generations of our family's fate is inside this book. I thought he was just rambling, until the day a developer worth $500 million dumped a truckload of industrial sludge into my orchard. That was when I finally opened the notebook. Inside, a single line read, "This formula comes from an old beekeeper in southern Yunnan. It can cultivate an enhanced bee strain. When danger comes, it will protect the home." I used those bees to turn Jade Bay Hot Spring Resort into the biggest abandoned ruin in the country. And when Mr. Qian knelt before me begging for mercy, I finally understood. What Grandpa left behind was never about beekeeping. It was a verdict, half a century in the making. Our orchard had been in the family since Grandpa's generation, 20 solid acres of lychee trees. Every summer, the branches hang heavy with bright red lychees like rows of little red lanterns. That orchard was everything for me, and the warmest memory of my childhood. One afternoon, I am out trimming branches when a sharp, awful smell hits me. Not pesticide, not fertilizer. Something worse, like rotting animal flesh mixed with industrial chemicals. I follow the stench. On the east side of the orchard near the road, someone has dumped a massive pile of dark brown sludge, plastic bags, rotting vegetables, and unidentifiable industrial waste. Clouds of flies buzz and swarm all over the roots of my best dozen lychee trees. I freeze. It feels like a bucket of ice water has been poured over me from head to toe. This orchard was bought with Grandpa's life. He had come home from fighting with a permanent injury to his leg. After he left the army, he used his veteran's pension to buy this bare hillside and broke it open with a hoe, one swing at a time. Mom always told me, our family's roots, 3 generations deep, are planted in this orchard. I followed the tire tracks through the sludge. They lead 2 kilometers straight to a massive construction site, a luxury resort being built by a big city developer, Jade Bay Hot Spring Resort. The owner, Mr. Xian, reportedly had serious political connections in the province. The site manager is a stocky middle-aged man with a buzz cut. I keep my voice steady and ask him, why is your construction waste being dumped in my orchard? Manager Zhao gives me a sideways look. Those tracks come straight from your site. Kid, watch your mouth. We're not the only construction site around here. And even if we did dump it, a little mud on your trees is basically free fertilizer, isn't it? The workers behind him burst out laughing. My fists clench so hard my knuckles crack. I want to rush him, but I know better. This man is waiting for me to throw the first punch. Then he flips it on me, calls it assault, and I end up taking the fall. I turn and walk away. Behind me, Manager Zhao laughs. Smart move. Know your place. Go back and tend your little trees. Maybe in a couple of years, if the boss is feeling generous, he might even buy your sad little orchard. He'll toss you peanuts, and you'll be grateful. My hands are shaking. My nails dig into my palms. I go home and say nothing to Mom. Ray, what's wrong? Mom, it's nothing. Just a small problem. I can't let her worry. Her heart is weak. She has been on medication for years. That night I can't sleep. At 4 in the morning, I give up and get up. I go to the local police station to file a report. The officer who takes my case is actually thorough. He follows me to the orchard, photographs everything, collects samples, and then goes to the construction site. But Manager Zhao does a complete 180. All smiles, offering cigarettes and tea. All our materials are fully certified. Someone is clearly trying to frame us. The police investigate for several days. In the end, the officer tells me, insufficient evidence. The tire tracks aren't conclusive. There are several other construction sites nearby. We can't pin it on them. I saw this coming. A man like Manager Zhao doesn't get that far by leaving loose ends. I stop looking for help from anyone. I start cleaning the orchard myself quietly, shoveling the contaminated sludge out, one load at a time. Broken glass in the sludge slices my fingers open. I don't stop. Blood and mud fill the burlap bags together. I haul out more than 30 bags of waste. I pile them in the corner of the orchard and cover them with a tarp. What breaks my heart most are those old lychee trees. Their leaves start yellowing and curling. Some branches die outright. Grandpa planted every one of them with his own hands. These trees are older than my own father. Each year they used to yield over 1,000 pounds of lychees. They were our main income. Now they are dying one by one, like poisoned elders. I kneel at the roots. I dig into the soil with my bare hands. The chemicals have already soaked into the earth. The roots are black and rotting. There is nothing left to save. Mom finds out eventually. She walks to the orchard trembling and stares at the row of dead trees with tears streaming down her face. These were your grandpa's whole world. She runs her hands over the cracked bark again and again, like she is touching the face of someone she has lost. I walk her back inside. I pour her a cup of hot water. She sits on the doorstep and stares at nothing. Not a single word for the entire afternoon. That night, I make a decision. If people won't fix this, then I will let nature handle it. I open the old camphor chest Grandpa left behind. Inside are his military discharge papers, his medals, and a yellowed notebook bound with cotton string. On the cover, in Grandpa's unsteady handwriting, the beekeeping notebook. After leaving the army, Grandpa kept bees alongside the lychee trees. I learned from him as a kid, spent a few years studying his methods. But when lychee prices rose, I focused on the orchard instead. Now I flip through the notebook page by page. It is packed, dense notes on every beekeeping technique, when to split a hive, how to prevent disease and pests, which bloom season gives the best honey. Toward the back, one page is dog ear. A red circle is drawn on it. Inside the circle, a few words, Queen Pheromone Formula. Below it is a formula I can barely follow, ratios of different pollens and names names of herbs I've never heard of. Beside it, Grandpa had added a note in small handwriting. This formula comes from an old beekeeper in southern Yunnan. It can cultivate an enhanced bee strain. When danger comes, it will protect the home. Use it only as a last resort. I stare at those words for a long time. What had Grandpa been through? Why would he write down something like this? What did he mean by protect the home? I decide to find out. The next morning, I follow the formula in the notebook, heading to the herbal medicine shop in town to gather every ingredient. Then I head into the hills to collect specific wildflower pollen. The notebook says to blend everything together with raw honey and seal it in a jar to ferment for 7 days and 7 nights. I take the jar and hide it in the root cellar deep in the orchard. The temperature stays constant there. Grandpa used it to store lychees. For 7 days, I check on it every day. On day 4, the jar starts releasing a strange scent. Not sweet like flowers, not rich like honey. Something distinct, like wet earth after rain blended with wild fruit. After 7 days, I open the jar. The mixture has turned into a pale golden paste, thick like petroleum jelly. Following Grandpa's instructions, I pack it into a small wooden box. Then I take our last 2 hives and head into the mountains. The notebook mentions a wild species, rock bees, living on deep mountain cliff faces, far stronger than regular honeybees. A wider foraging range, remarkably adaptable, but aggressive, nearly impossible to tame. The notebook also says, with the right queen pheromone formula, you can draw in the wild rock bee queen, and she will bring the entire swarm with her. I search the mountains for 3 days, and finally, at the base of a sheer cliff, I find the rock bee colony. These bees are nearly twice the size of regular honeybees, jet black all over, with a single ring of gold at the tail. Following Grandpa's method, I spread the queen pheromone at the entrance of my hive and step back to wait. About 2 hours later, rock bees begin circling the hive. More and more, a thick, dark mass. Then suddenly the swarm parts, and a larger queen bee appears. She lands on the hive, tests the pheromone with her antennae, and slowly crawls inside. The entire swarm rushes in after her, like water through a drain. I did it. Back home, I settle both rock bee hives in the deepest part of the orchard. Then I begin training them using Grandpa's methods. Rock bees are a different beast entirely. On the first day, I get stung 7 times. My arms swell up like dough, but I don't quit. Every day, I push through the pain and keep working with them. Slowly, I discover that as long as I wear the queen pheromone, they won't sting me. They treat me as one of their own. 1 month later, I begin the next phase of the plan. Only I know what comes next, not even Mom. During the day, I keep up appearances, trimming branches, watering, fertilizing. At night, I slip into the deep orchard and start doing something no one would ever expect. I am mixing a special pollen blend. The notebook says bees can detect certain chemicals at a sensitivity thousands of times greater than humans. They can smell specific molecules in the air at almost undetectable concentrations. If you feed bees pollen laced with a chemical marker over time, they will lock it into permanent memory. No matter how far they fly, the moment they catch that scent, they swarm toward it. Following the formula, I identify a perfect marker: zinc sulfate, a heavy metal compound common in industrial waste. Jade Bay Resort uses it constantly. There are electroplated pipes, anti-rust bolts, all coated in the stuff. I mix trace amounts of zinc sulfate powder into the pollen. The ratio 1 part per million, completely harmless to humans, but to rock bees, it is a powerful signal. Every day, I feed the rock bees this custom pollen, while gradually cutting their nearby food supply, forcing them to fly outward, searching for the zinc sulfate marker. This process is slow. It demands patience, but patience is something I have plenty of. 3 months later, Jade Bay Hot Spring Resort holds its grand opening. Our manager would like to invite you to the ceremony. Someone, I don't know how, had told them about my contaminated orchard. On opening day, they send someone to deliver an invitation. I am being mocked. I know it. I go anyway. I stand at the back of the crowd and watch Mr. Cheon in his tailored suit cut the ribbon. This is the most premium hot spring resort in the entire province. A $500 million investment. We aim to set the national standard. The applause is thunderous. Local officials and Chamber of Commerce heads pile on the congratulations. Dozens of banquet tables fill the resort. Premium liquor, lobster, abalone. Glasses clinking, toasts flying everywhere. I stand in a corner. My face is as still as standing water. No one notices me. No one knows what I am looking at. I am looking at the walls. Premium stone cladding, every seam sealed with transparent waterproof adhesive, loaded with zinc sulfate. Their pool plumbing, galvanized pipes, sealed with anti-rust paint, also zinc sulfate. Every single detail of this resort is radiating the exact chemical signal that only rock bees can precisely detect. The corner of my mouth lifts, just slightly. No one sees it. Back home, I double the concentration of the custom pollen. The bees feed on it frantically. Their compound eyes reflect my face back at me, calm and cold. Jade Bay Resort is doing well. The first month, every room is fully booked. The hot spring pools are packed like sardines. Mr. Chan opens 2 more branch offices in the provincial capital. Manager Zhao gets a promotion, deputy director of the whole project. They all think the good times are just getting started. Meanwhile, at my orchard, those dead lychee trees are rotting all the way to the roots. The first weekend of July, Jade Bay Resort hits peak season. The parking lot fills with luxury cars, the hot springs packed with guests. Around 3 in the afternoon, someone screams, "Bees!" Then screams erupt everywhere. From out of nowhere, tens of thousands of black bees pour in, buzzing as they swirl above the resort. Like a moving black storm, the bees do not sting anyone, but their behavior is bizarre. They ignore the flower beds, they ignore the food. Instead, every single bee targets the outer walls, pipe joints, and pool surfaces. Every surface containing waterproof adhesive or anti-rust paint, and covers them in layer after layer. Guests scatter in panic. Some call the police, some call the fire department, some just drive away. Security guards spray fire extinguishers at the swarm. The bees don't budge. They cling to those chemical marker points and cannot be driven off. Manager Zhao is out having dinner when his phone rings. He rushes back and the color drains from his face. He orders dozens of cans of insecticide sprayed directly into the swarm. Rock bees are far more resistant than regular honeybees. The spray barely affects them. By nightfall, the swarm finally begins to thin. The resort is left in chaos. Manager Zhao assumes it was a freak incident. The next day, he has the outer walls scrubbed clean and resealed with fresh waterproof adhesive. On day 3, the bees return, this time in double the numbers. Beyond the outer wall marker points, bees now push inside the building. At the galvanized kitchen pipe joints, the anti-rust bathroom drains. Clusters of black bees appear everywhere. Guests completely lose their nerve. Nobody wants to vacation in a bee infestation. Videos start appearing on social media, all titled Jade Bay Resort Under Bee Attack. People start commenting, "You can just tell something is wrong with this place. Even the bees can't stand it." Within 1 week, the resort's occupancy rate drops below 10%. Several major corporate bookings are canceled outright. Losses exceed $5 million. Manager Zhao is like a cat on a hot tin roof. He brings in a provincial pest control expert to assess the situation. The expert runs instrument scans throughout the building, then points to the black bees in the wall seams. These are wild rock bees, extremely rare. They should not be approaching human structures. Their behavior suggests they are being drawn by some kind of chemical signal. Something is pulling them in. We need lab testing to identify what signal. He takes samples for analysis. Manager Zhao is skeptical but goes along with it. He arranges for bee samples to be sent in. The expert has barely left when the next problem hits. A hot spring pool pipe bursts. Workers dig up the ground and recoil, gasping at what they find. The pipes are completely wrapped in dense honeycomb, one section after another, like strings of black tumors coiled tight around every joint and valve. The bees have built their hives inside the building, and this is only the beginning. Over the next 2 months, every underground pipe in the resort gets clogged with honeycomb. The air conditioning condensate lines, the hot water circulation pipes, the sewage lines, not one is spared. In the worst spots, the honeycomb splits the pipe walls open. Repair crews are left speechless every time they dig. Word finally reaches Mr. Qian. This project was his life's work. $500 million invested. Now, less than 6 months after opening, it is the laughingstock of the entire county. Mr. Qian drives down from the provincial capital himself. He brings a team of experts and technical consultants. They stand beneath the honeycomb-covered walls. His face is iron gray. "What is going on?" he demands, turning to Manager Zhao. "What is going on?" "Sir, the expert said it was an unusual wild bee migration, and it might also be a problem with the construction materials." Mr. Qian slams his palm on the table. "I don't care how you do it. Fix this in 1 month or you're done." Manager Zhao wipes the cold sweat from his forehead and starts frantically asking around. "Is there any beekeeping master who can handle rock bees? Wild rock bees fear fire. Smoke them out." Without hesitation, Manager Zhao sends men in with flamethrowers aimed at the hives. The bees are not driven out. Instead, the outer wall waterproofing is burned off, causing several rooms to flood. Next, someone suggests high-concentration pesticide fumigation. Manager Zhao spends the equivalent of $20,000 on a professional extermination company. They enclose the entire building in a sealed tent and pump in toxic gas for 3 days and 3 nights. The company guarantees not one fly will survive. The tent comes down. The next day, the bees are back, this time in even greater numbers, as if every rock bee on the mountain had received a signal and rallied here. Manager Zhao is in full panic. He cannot figure out what kind of force he has brought down on himself. "Boss, this feels cursed. Why are these bees targeting us specifically? I heard that guy next door who grows lychees. His family keeps bees, and his grandfather was supposedly the most famous beekeeper for miles around." The next day, Manager Zhao shows up with a few workers at the edge of my orchard, peering through the fence. I am out trimming branches. I hear them and look up. I meet his gaze, calm and even. "Hey kid, what have you been up to?" "Not much, just looking after the orchard." His eyes sweep across every corner of the orchard. You keep bees here?" "Just a few regular honeybees. Nothing special." Manager Zhao studies me for a long moment. They only see a few regular hive boxes in the orchard. The rock bees are hidden in a cave deep in the back hills. They never come near the orchard. He finds nothing. On his way out, he throws one last line. "Kid, you better hope I don't find anything on you, otherwise you'll regret it." The lab results finally come back. The expert finds high concentrations of zinc sulfate residue in both the bee samples and the honeycomb, the same zinc sulfate found in the materials used throughout Jade Bay Resort. The expert's conclusion: the rock bees had developed an abnormally strong attraction to the zinc sulfate, treating the entire resort as one massive chemical flower. When Manager Zhao receives the report, he looks like he has swallowed something rotten. He remembers to cut costs. He had used the cheapest waterproofing materials available. That batch exceeded the national zinc sulfate standard by a significant margin. Mr. Qian had told him to control the budget. He had figured it was no big deal. Save where you can. And now, those cut-rate materials had released the very chemical signal that brought the swarm. The story leaks. The County Environmental Bureau, Quality Inspection Bureau, and Construction Bureau arrive one after another. Multiple material violations are found: waterproofing, fire safety, earthquake resistance, all below standard. The resort is ordered to shut down for rectification. Mr. Chin works every connection he has in the province, but the scandal has grown too large. No one dares step in for it. He has no choice but to accept the penalties. He pays fines exceeding $5 million, plus an additional $30 million in required repairs. And he never once suspects that the Rockbee's obsession was no accident. It had been engineered, step by step, starting from the pages of Grandpa's yellowed notebook. The 3 months of forced closure are the quietest of my life. Every morning I go to the orchard as usual, watering, fertilizing, tending the surviving trees. The ones that were contaminated and died, I leave them standing like black tombstones. A reminder that when your fists aren't strong enough, you use your mind. In the afternoons, I check on the rock bees in their mountain cave. They have grown to over 40 hive boxes, faster than I had expected. The notebook says rock bees reproduce at 3 times the rate of regular bees, as long as pollen is plentiful. I keep mixing custom pollen according to the formula, making sure each new generation stays locked onto the zinc sulfate signal. In the evenings, I cook for Mom. She has been a little better lately, able to sit outside in the yard sometimes. She still sighs when she looks at the dead trees. Ray, can those bees really drive away the bad people? Mom, trust me, bees may be small, but they never let go of anyone who invades their hive. 3 months later, Jade Bay Resort reopens. This time they swap out every waterproofing material and pipe coating for certified products, spending big on a full renovation. Manager Zhao holds a press conference. Our resort has passed all quality inspections. Welcome back. That same night, I go back to the cave and raise the custom pollen concentration to 5 parts per million. The swarm buzzes restlessly inside the hives, like an army ready to march. I tap each hive lid gently. Go, my soldiers. The next morning at 10, Jade Bay Resort welcomes its first guest since reopening. Mr. Jian stands at the entrance himself, beaming with pride. He thinks the nightmare is over. He has no idea it's just beginning. At 11:03 in the morning, 11:03, the first rock bee lands on a stainless steel flagpole at the resort's main entrance. Then the second, the third, the 100th, 3,000, 10,000. A black tide of bees floods in from every direction. This time, they don't just target the waterproofing. They coat every inch of the building. Windows, railings, air conditioning units, signs, light boxes, even the cars in the parking lot. From a distance, the entire resort looks paved in black asphalt. Guests scream and scatter. Someone gets stung on the face. Someone's arm swells up with welts. Security guards spray fire extinguishers wildly. The bees do not care. They grip tight to every surface containing zinc sulfate residue and will not let go. Mr. Chan stands behind the glass lobby doors, watching the black storm outside. His legs are shaking. He turns to Manager Zhao, his voice barely making it through his teeth. Didn't you say all the materials were replaced? Manager Zhao's face goes white as paper. Sir, I really did replace everything, but the old pipes and walls still have residue inside. We can't tear down the whole building and start over. Mr. Chan closes his eyes. He understands everything. From the foundation to the roof, this building has become a permanent target for the rock bee swarm. As long as the building stands, the bees will never leave. That afternoon, Jade Bay Resort announces another closure, this time indefinitely. The news explodes across the county. Everything Mr. Qian had buried with money starts surfacing. Someone reports the bribes he paid to acquire the land. Someone exposes the violent forced demolitions of homes. Others say his other projects were all built with substandard materials. Safety risks everywhere. Journalists swarm in like sharks that smell blood. The incident locals are calling the Black Bee event has still not received a rational explanation. Why are these bees so fixated on this building? Is something deeper at work? We will continue to follow this story. At this moment, I am standing on the hillside of my orchard, watching that bee-covered resort in the distance. Wind moves through the dead lychee branches with a dry, whispering sound, like they are all quietly humming an ancient song about consequences. I turn and walk back into the orchard. I pull Grandpa's notebook from the cellar and open the last page. There, in Grandpa's red ink, a single line. A swarm never strikes first, not unless someone disturbs their hive. Their memory passes from generation to generation. Once they have locked onto an enemy, they never forget. I close the notebook and press it against my chest. Mr. Qian's company declares bankruptcy in August. The resort's assets are seized and auctioned by the court. But because of the serious construction violations and the bee infestation story now known across the country, no one dares take it on. In the end, it sells for scrap price to a building materials salvage company. On demolition day, a crowd gathers to watch. The excavator takes its first bite into the wall, and a massive dark cloud of rock bees bursts from the cracks and swirls above the site. Workers drop their tools and run. It takes 3 full days of water spraying to temporarily drive the swarm away. Then they race to tear down the entire main structure before the bees return. I stand in the crowd and watch this building, once a symbol of wealth and power, crumble piece by piece under a roar of machinery. The dust rises and blots out the sky. As it slowly falls, scenes flash through my mind like a film reel. Grandpa holding me beside a hive saying, "Bees, they seem gentle enough, but destroy their hive, and they will give up everything, just to make you pay." Mom standing beneath the dead lychee trees, running trembling hands over the cracked bark, tears dropping one by one into the dirt. Manager Zhao with a cigarette dangling from his lips, sneering at me. "We'll toss you peanuts and you'll be grateful." Back then, workers held me back. My fists bled and I still couldn't swing. The images flash past one by one and freeze on one last image. Roots drowned in sludge, black, rotting, like severed arms. The chemical sludge sludge still bubbling and hissing, consuming the last trace of life. The dust settles. Jade Bay Resort is now a pile of rubble. Manager Zhao and Mr. Qian stand nearby, both hollow-eyed, staring blankly at the wreckage. I don't spare them another glance. I turn and walk away. As I leave the crowd, someone recognizes me and says quietly, "That's the lychee farmer next door. Jade Bay's people trashed his orchard." She says nothing more, but everyone understands. The crowd parts and makes way for me. I walk steadily through the site, up the slope, and into my 20 acres of lychee trees. Sunlight filters through the leaves and scatters gold across the ground. I scoop up a handful of soil and hold it to my nose. I breathe it in. The stench is gone. In its place, the clean, fresh smell of turned earth. 3 years. This poisoned land is finally healing itself. I think again of Grandpa's words. He said the land has memory. Whatever you put into it, it will return to you, in its own way, in its own time. So will people. That night, I carry all the rock beehives back up into the mountains. I find the sheer cliff face where it all began, the original home of the rock bee colony. I open the hive boxes one by one and carefully lift out each honeycomb frame. I fix them back into the cracks of the cliff face. The rock bees circle me, buzzing, like a ring of black stars. I lean close to the oldest queen bee and speak softly. "Thank you. You did what I needed. Now go home." The queen rests on the back of my hand for a moment, then touches my fingers with her antennae. Then she turns and leads the swarm back to the cliff. They slip into the rock one by one, until they vanish into the stone. Only a deep, steady hum remains, echoing through the valley. I bow deeply to the cliff face, then walk down the mountain without looking back. But the story does not end here. The secret that truly chills me to the bone only comes to light 3 months later. Someone from the County Cultural Archives shows up at my door. "Hello. While compiling the local historical records, we came across an old file on your grandfather. We wanted to verify something with you." The document is a military tribunal verdict dated 1953. The defendant's name is unmistakably Grandpa's. I stand there struck like lightning, frozen. The verdict states, in 1952, while serving in southern Yunnan, Grandpa had used a special biological weapon without authorization, targeting the residence of a local warlord. The entire building was destroyed by the swarm. The warlord was severely injured. Grandpa was sentenced to 5 years by the military tribunal, so the line in the notebook, "When danger comes, it will protect the home," was never about protecting the country on a battlefield. It was about protecting his own. The warlord had set his eyes on Grandpa's fiancée, my grandmother. While Grandpa was away on a mission, the warlord tried to assault her. Grandma fought back with everything she had and jumped from the second floor. She shattered her spine. She was paralyzed for the rest of her life. And at the time, because there was no solid evidence, the warlord was only held for 6 months before being released. That notebook was never folk wisdom. It was a complete biological warfare manual. Grandpa had served in a Special Forces entomological warfare unit in southern Yunnan. His mission was to use bees carrying chemical markers to mark enemy ammunition depots and command posts, guiding bombers to strike with precision. He had simply turned those same tactics toward a personal verdict. The archivist told me the military tribunal had caused enormous controversy at the time. Many soldiers signed a petition for leniency, saying that warlord had done unforgivable things and deserved far worse. But military law is unforgiving. Grandpa served 3 years. When he was released, he brought Grandma, now paralyzed, back to their hometown. He used his veteran's pension to buy this bare hillside. He planted lychee trees. He kept bees, and the queen pheromone formula. He had copied it down when he left the army, at the risk of being shot for it. After the archivist left, I sat alone in the yard for a long time. So many small details came back to me. Growing up, every other old man in the village loved telling war stories. Grandpa never said a word. When people asked about his leg, he just said he hurt it fighting the enemy. Those metals, he never let anyone touch them. And the way he taught me to mix the pollen concentrations, there was a particular light in his eyes, the kind only someone who has lived through something carries. And suddenly, I understand why he left that notebook. Not because he knew about Jade Bay Resort, or about people like Manager Zhao, but because he knew that in this world, some wrongs cannot be righted through proper channels. Some debts can only be settled another way. What he left me was not a swarm of bees. It was an interrupted verdict, a justice suppressed for half a century. The last card a farmer holds when power comes knocking. The following spring, I plant new seedlings beside the dead lychee trees. Not just lychees this time. Following the ecological intercropping method in Grandpa's notebook, I plant longan, wampy, and starfruit between the rows, alongside nitrogen-fixing legumes. The land had been nourished by rock bee honeycomb and waste for 3 full years. The organic matter content is higher than ever. A county agricultural expert comes out and tells me, "This is incredible. This orchard's soil fertility has exceeded the top tier of ecological farmland standards." I don't mention anything about those 3 years. I just smile and hand the expert a fresh-picked cluster of lychees. "Try these. This land has its own personality. It knows who to be good to." That summer, the newly planted trees start bearing fruit. Yields are still modest, but the flesh is thick, the juice runs rich, and the sweetness is startling. At the county agricultural fair, they are immediately claimed by several premium fruit distributors, 3 times the price of